Hello friends, hope you are safe during this pandemic. Hope you liked our earlier video of 3 years journey of GST. With regard to the introduction of TechStrend, it is the newsletter which was initiated in order to share the updates among the clients and professionals. Coming to the objective of this video, it is to share the weekly updates of GST which have taken place during the previous week. Coming to the first aspect, which is revenue of the government, if we look at the revenue figures for the month of June 2020, it has been recorded at 90,000 crores. Moving to the quarterly revenue figures, which comprised of April, May and June, it has been recorded at 1,85,000 crores. Quarter also included 2 months whereby the country was under complete lockdown due to the pandemic prevailing all over the world. Also, the figures of the month of the June may not belong to June itself, as many taxpayers must have furnished their GSTR 3B for the previous tax period, as the date for filing the GST 3B were extended. Coming to the second aspect, it is with regard to the return filing, whereby the government has given the option to file nil returns through SMS, and the taxpayers can send their message for filing their nil returns. The important aspect is that message has to be sent through the number of authorized signatory which was given at the time of registration on the common portal. Thus, number has to be unique for every registration, meaning thereby if a taxpayer has multiple registrations in one state or otherwise, in that case, he needs to have unique number for each registration for the purpose of filing nil return. The government has issued various notification during the previous week. The coming to the first notification which has been issued is the government has issued a notification to give effect to the provisions of Finance Act 2020, which have been made effective from 30th June 2020. Such effective provisions include amendment into definition of union territory, whereby reshuffling has been done into the definition with respect to the union territory. Another provision which has come into force is with respect to shifting of certain powers from Commissioner of Board to the Jurisdictional Commissioner, wherein with regard to the remuneration of the special auditor, one needs to apply to the Jurisdictional Commissioner instead of the Commissioner on the board. In case of job work, if inputs are not received within the designated time period, in such case, taxpayer needs to apply to the jurisdictional commissioner instead of the commissioner on the board for the purpose of extension of time. Another amendment which has been made is in the section 172, whereby the government had powers to issue general or special orders to remove the difficulty in implementation of GST. That power was there in the law for the 3 years, now which has been extended to 5 years, meaning thereby the time limit for issuing the general or special order to remove the difficulty in the implementation of the provisions of the Act was up to 30th June 2020, which has been extended up to 30th June 2022. Another notification which has been issued is with respect to the late fees. There was a large chunk of taxpayers who had not furnished their GSTR 3B for the month starting from July 17 to January 2020. One of the reasons for not furnishing the returns till date may be the amount of late fees which was provided in the law, and that amount was 200 per day per return, and which may extend to 10,000 per day, 10,000 per return for a tax period. As a one-time MNST scheme, the government has waived the late fees into two categories, one being where there is no tax liability and another being where there is a tax liability. So where there is no tax liability, there will not be any late fees charged, and the taxpayers will be able to furnish their returns from July to January 2020. Where there was a tax liability, the taxpayers will have to give the late fees of 500 at max. If we talk about the period post January 2020, the taxpayers may be divided into two categories, one being taxpayers having aggregate turnover more than 5 crores, and during the preceding financial year, they can furnish their returns for the month of February, March and April up to 24 June 2020, meaning thereby if they furnish their returns during the extended time period, there will not be any late fees, but after that date, there will be a late fees applicable. Another being taxpayers having aggregate turnover up to 5 crores. They have been extended the due dates for the return from February to August. So in that case, if those taxpayers furnish their returns within such extended time limit which has been provided from February to August, in that case there will not be any late fees charged, but after that date there will be applicable normal rate fees, that is which is currently 50 per day. It is important to note that there is no extension of time for the composition taxpayers. Coming to the another notification with respect to the waiver of late fees in case of GSTR1, reduction in late fees of GSTR1 has also been granted. For the purpose of GSTR1, we may classify the taxpayers into two categories, one being where the taxpayer is more than 1.5 crores and another being where there is a turnover up to 1.5 crores. Where the turnover is up to 1 crore, 1.5 crore, the due date for filing the GSTR1 for Jan to March is 17th July 2020, and for the period April to August 20, the due date for filing GSTR1 is 3rd August 2020. If those taxpayers file their GSTR1 up to these extended dates, there will not be any late fees. After that, late fees will be charged. Where the turnover is more than 1.5 crores, the monthly due dates for the purpose of filing those GSTR1 have been extended. And if the taxpayers furnish their GSTR1 up to within such extended due dates, there will not be any late fees, but after that date, the late fees will be charged. Coming to the notification with respect to waiver of interest, the government has reduced the interest rate if the taxpayers furnish their returns up to the extended due dates. In that case, the interest will be charged at the rate of 9%, which is currently in terms of 50 is section 50 is 18%. Another notification which has been issued is with respect to the dates, with respect to the orders or summons or notices or sanctions which were required to be issued during the pandemic time, including starting from 20th March to 29th June. In that case, the due date was extended for those particular aspects was 30th June 2020, but which has now been extended to 31st August to 2020, and the period has also been enhanced. That is, if any notice was required to be issued from 20th March 2020 to 30th August 2020, in that case, that notice can be issued up till 31st August 2020. Likewise, if somebody was required to furnish any refund application or refund claim, in that case, the period of limitation, if it was expiring from 20th March 2020 to 30th August 2020, the taxpayers may furnish those refund claims up to 31st August 2020. Thank you so much for watching.